So far, of the three, the Colognes is the only one that I haven't actually smelled before. So that one, well, actually, no, that's wrong, because I had smelled that before. I said it was my granddad's scent. So all of them I've smelled before. This fourth one, however, was the first time I smelled it. And, well, animalics are not my thing. And I thought, wow, this is so animalic. And I wanted to check the note listing, and there's no animalic notes listed. However, all the comments, like a lot of the comments, stated animalic elements in this fragrance, and the fragrance I'm talking about is none other than this one. This is Salvador Dali Pour Homme, and it was from 1987, and it was perfumed by Thierry Wasser, who later became the head perfumer at Guerlain, being the first non-Guerlain person to be the head perfumer at Guerlain. Very unique sort of bottle. The inside here, it's got like Dali sort of all over it, and then you open it up like so, and it's sitting in there. Yank him out, and that's the bottle itself. I should show you the top, actually. I'll show you the top. It's a bottle with a pair of lips as a lid. Hello. Hello, my name is Salvador Dali. Ew. And the bottle's leaked a little bit. And it's so... I don't even need to open it. Smell it here. It's so animalic. Like, it is like... Apparently there's like anise and like lavender and clary sage, all that kind of stuff in here. It's quite herbal, tarragon, basil, geranium and jasmine. And then, yeah. So you can definitely smell patchouli in here. You can definitely smell sandalwood in here and oak moss in here as well. You got lavender, but it's just so, I can't. This is something I wouldn't sort of reach for. And it's unfortunate that it is actually one of the strongest fragrances I've ever come across. It's an eau de toilette, but it is at 80%. You know what that means? You know what that means? That little 80% that's there? That means that that's 80% by volume of alcohol. And the rest of it is fragrant oils. And that is an eau de parfum concentration in the current day. If you see an eau de parfum, they usually say 80%, and that's supposed to be an eau de toilette. It's so strong in that from the get-go. It's very animalic, but then the animalics kind of die down in the very, very deep dry down. You can still smell it. You've still got that patchouli and oak moss sort of working together. It's a dirty sort of patchouli too. It's like that. It's like your, hippies kind of using patchouli, that kind of patchouli, not your chocolatey patchouli. Dali Pour Homme, you may like it. I do not. I do not like this one. I don't. It did kind of remind me of Kouros. It did. The animalic element of Dali reminded me of Kouros. However, Kouros kind of had that urinal cake sort of thing going on. And then you had the animalic element once that sort of faded coming to the fore. Dali just hits you straight off the bat with, hey, I'm an animal's butt. Smell me. I want to smell like an animal's butt. Well, maybe Dali did. Okay, what are we up to? So that was the first one, and that was a bit of a shock when I smelled it. I was like, oh, this is the thing that everybody's sort of talking about. I'm not quite sure. I don't really follow that trend, smelling like an animal's butt. A sweaty animal's butt. The next one, I think I had smelled, but I've probably forgotten it because it was so many decades ago. And the one I'm talking about is the iconic and the classic Paco Rabanne Pour Homme. And it's so iconic, it's so classic that even Prince mentions it in a song more than once. And he calls it Paco Rabanne. It's in a song called Movie Star, which is actually one of my favorite Prince songs. And yes, he makes fun of it, as in a girl at a club is making fun of him for wearing this because it's just so beastly and so strong. And of course, everybody in that era was wearing this, and they were so you were the cool guy if you were wearing this. But I think it kind of became uncool very, very quickly because everybody just slathered it on like this. And I understand why fragrances of ye olden times and the vintages needed to be so strong and so in your face and so brash and not really hiding any nuance, that kind of thing. I know why. It's because you wore fragrances to attract the opposite sex as a man. You wanted to show that you're strong and sort of animalic, and you had all those sort of traditionally masculine qualities about you. But if you did go out somewhere, like a restaurant or a nightclub or something like that, everybody was, first of all, everybody was drinking, of course, which sort of numbs your senses a little bit. But at the time, a lot of people were smoking as well. And if you wanted to compete with that, you really needed something stronger than a numbed sense of smell plus cigarette smoke everywhere. And so therefore you had powerhouses. So you had the powerhouses, the huge masculine aromas of the 70s and 80s, and this is one of them. This is one of them. This is from 1973. It's older than me, as a matter of fact. Yeah, so it's got the usual tropes. It's got the rosemary, it's got the clary sage, it's got lavender, and it's got oak moss. And the thing I guess that makes this a little bit nicer and smoother is that it's got some honey in the base as well and some musks. So it actually dries down to something really, really, really nice. Now, a lot of the scents that are in this profile are really also kind of good, but none of them are sort of as smooth as this. And I think that it's rightly so that a lot of people covet this particular fragrance. And I didn't mention that inside the actual box, you've got like a little styrofoam housing. I think that's cute. I think that's really cute. Sort of just sits in the styrofoam housing like that so it doesn't wobble about. And I think this is also not a vintage. Also not a vintage, but it still smells great. It smells great, actually. And there's that dry down. It's become like soapy, but you can still smell a little bit of almost like an indole from honey. It's really weird, but it's really quite nice, which is different to what I think of the next fragrance in here, which is similar, but it's not as nice. But I'm still going to show you what it is anyway. And so the next one, which is number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, sixth one. This one here, which is Enrico Coveri. Enrico Coveri. I've never heard of this. I mean, I'd heard of it, but I've never smelled it. Let's just say I wasn't surprised. Another woody aromatic. Let's just say I wasn't surprised at what it smelled like. I just wasn't surprised. But I'm going to show you the housing that it comes in, like this, and then it's a miniature of the actual bottle itself. But this is cool because this little it's like plastic in the back, but in the front it's like lined with like some felt or something like that. It's fuzzy. You can hear it, and this is what the bottle looks like that. Yeah, no, yuck. It must be like the mixture of like tarragon and nutmeg in the opening here with the lavender and the lemon or bergamot. Totally not my cup of tea. It's just not. It's a bit heavy-handed. It's a bit more pungent in like a BO kind of pungent in the dry down, oak moss leather sort of dry down. And that's why they all smell similar. It's just like a ton of oak moss, ton of leather in the base, and then there's lavender and bergamot at the top, and then in the mid you might have some geranium and some sandalwood or some cedar and some patchouli or something like that. So those are the general players in most of the note pyramids in all of these fragrances. Didn't like that one very much. This Enrico Coveri came out in 1984, a little bit later than Paco Rabanne, but somehow not better than Paco Rabanne. Much not better. Okay, so the next one I've heard of, and I'm very, very glad that I got my hands on a 4.5 ml bottle of this one here, which is Luciano Pavarotti pour Homme, or for men. And this was an actual surprise. This was a surprise. This was a surprise. You know why? Because it was really, really good. Yeah. Focus. There we go. Focus on that. Actually, this I've actually worn on skin. And I must say, it wears really well on skin. I've got the dry down here. Amazing. Absolutely amazing. Like, out of all of these ones so far, I would I would totally buy a bottle of this. I think it's just that good. It's just that good. It's amazing, as a matter of fact. I look at the note breakdown, and lemon verbena, of course, I like lemon verbena as a note in perfumery, and I think I don't know, I just pick it up. It's a very interesting note. And how it's treated here with almost like a honeyed patchouli, and there is honey in the base here, and benzoin and apopanax, which is a resin. And it's certainly a departure from all of the other fragrances that I've mentioned so far, and it smells completely different. And that's probably because this came out in 1994, so that's why. And who would have thought that, you know, like a celebrity, almost like a celebrity fragrance. It's Luciano Pavarotti. It's one of the three tenors, you know. He was the one with the best voice, singing Nessun Dorma, you know, that one. And I think that this is a fantastic fragrance. Unfortunately, and I did look online, it's really hard to find, and when you do find it, it's extremely expensive because it's been discontinued probably for decades. But whoever has it, you got yourself a fantastic fragrance. Wear it, man. Wear it. That's what I'm saying. You got to wear these things. That is a really good fragrance. So far, the best one in this list by far. The next one that I got here is Dunhill. It says edition. I don't know. Dunhill edition? Is that what it is? I want to show you the actual presentation on this one, because it's you kind of have to yank it out from the side like this, right? Like this. Come on, focus, focus, focus. There you go. And it's like this. And on this side, you've got some booklet like that, and then you open this up, and the fragrance itself is resting in here because it's round and it needs to be protected. And it's quite a nice mini splash. And this one also is extremely good. I would buy a bottle of this as well. I would, because it's just that good. It's not as good as the Pavarotti. This is another one from 1984, and I think that is a vintage. That is a vintage, as a matter of fact, and it's produced in Holland. Okay, 83% by volume. Here, this one, the Dunhill edition. So it's actually decent strength. So nutmeg is in the opening, which gives it like a little lemony warmth, warm lemony kind of kick, spicy warm lemon. That's what it is. Fir, not as in like animal fur, as in the fir balsam, like a tree, the type of tree, not the animal fur. Fir. Amazing. That's a really good one. I really do like that one as well. So out of the 8 so far, I think I would only get 2 if I was interested in a larger bottle. A vintage, of course. Okay, and the next one I've got is this one, which I've never heard of before. I mean, I've heard of Monsieur de Givenchy, but I hadn't heard of this one, which is the super concentrate, or the super concentrate, or if you want to use the French version, it is Haute concentration, just like that. Haute concentration comes in a very strange sort of bottle, like this. Yeah, like this, with a screw cap. I don't know. It's nice. It's very woody. It's a very woody. Now, this is an old school scent. Came out in 1959, and you can probably tell. I mean, it does have a ton of lemon verbena in the mid, but it's not a modern treatment of it. It's really just about lemon and oak moss and sandalwood instead of leather. So it's a bit smoother in the base. And then the other one that I got, which is this one here, which is Monsieur de Givenchy regular strength, is the same as the Haute concentration one, just wears out faster. That's all it is. It's nothing different. Yeah, I don't smell anything different in that one, except the strength, and it shows, because this is here you go. It says 90%. As you can see there, it says 90% volume alcohol, and the super concentrate, or the Haute concentration, has got this one, 86%, if it focuses, and it will show you 86% by volume of alcohol. Okay, what are we up to? Next one, what are we up to? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11th one is this one. I think you're all familiar with this. If you know anything about your vintages, you'll know that this is Gentleman Givenchy. A lot of people say that it does smell like the Luciano Pavarotti one. They say it's similar to that. I don't think so. It's kind of close. However, kind of close. And this surprised me because I was expecting another sort of lemon up top with oak moss in the base and carnation in the mid. But something else in here. Honey and lots of patchouli and civet, which is your animalic note. Like, yeah, it's more bearable than Salvador Dali's one, but it's probably not something that I would go for. I don't think a gentleman should smell like a furry animal's anal gland secretion. I don't think a gentleman should smell like a small animal's anal gland secretion, which is, I think, what civet is, right? Just an opinion. Call me crazy, but a distinguished gentleman probably doesn't want to smell like he's just had a small furry animal rub its ass on his face after taking a dump. Like I said, you do you, but for me, animalic, But when it does fade out, I gotta say, the patchouli and the leather, really, really good, really smooth, and the animalic in the background, like way in the background. That's when this works. Okay, next one. Next one is